that handwriting example right there. I'm 9.5 years in. It wasn't quite so bad, but my handwriting definitely shrunk. It's called micrographia, I believe is how you pronounce it. So anyways, that's me off now, and this is what it looks like when I'm on. So it's pretty normal. It's not as nice as it used to be, but I will take it. And really quick, I've got some exciting news. I'm going to be live interviewed by a woman named Mel with the Davis Finney Foundation. If you're not familiar with their channel, they are amazing. You should totally check it out. I'm super excited. It'll be live, so I think you can chat and say hi and ask any questions if you have any, but you can click on this little notify me bell and you'll be notified when I'm live. So it's Wednesday, May 17th at 11 a.m. California time. So yeah, I would love to have you check that out if you're interested. So along with my handwriting shrinking, I had the left side of my body, I felt just like it felt slightly paralyzed. It's kind of why I was thinking maybe I had like a mild stroke or a heart attack or something like that. It just felt weak, just really weak, and then my left foot was dragging a little bit. You know, everything was moving slower on this side, and I couldn't wiggle my toes. And I also had an intention tremor. So my tremor is not a resting tremor, it's when it's, you know, being put to use, it's in action, that it would come out, and right now I'm feeling very nice. So, but yeah, so I had an intention tremor. Anyways, I went to a podiatrist first because my toes wouldn't wiggle, I couldn't move them on my left foot. He said you have to see a neurologist. So then I went to see a neurologist, and after doing like the finger tapping and the foot tapping and watching me walk and checking out my tremor, he said you have Parkinson's disease. And this is also something interesting. He grabbed the clipboard after he had done all that stuff. He grabbed the clipboard where I had written all, you know, my stuff on, and he could see the handwriting. I remember specifically that day it was really bad. So he knew, but then I didn't want to believe it, and I wanted a second opinion. And this is where I find that the story gets interesting. So he sent me to like this Parkinson god, you know, who's supposed to know everything, and he was at UCSF, and this guy tells me that I have a stress-induced tremor. Because, you know, I opened this business, I relocated, it was just, I could understand it too, but it's just like, okay, why can't I wiggle my toes? I mean, what does that have to do with stress? But anyways, then I also had gone to see, after him, somebody to get a nerve conduction study to make sure that the nervous system or my nerves were okay. And she had said, this was her advice, she said, I recommend that you go back to the UCSF guy one more time. If he says the same thing, that it's a stress-induced tremor, go down to Stanford and rule out multiple sclerosis. So I made an appointment with somebody at Stanford who's an MS specialist, and he is the one, he didn't diagnose me with MS, he said I didn't have it. I think he knew I had Parkinson's, but he couldn't tell me that. So he gave me the name of who to see at Stanford, who is a movement disorder specialist. But this is where it gets interesting compared to the second guy. Because, so the Parkinson's guy, the MS guy prescribed me Cinemet, carbidopa, levodopa, to do the levodopa test, which the second guy he didn't do. And I understand how difficult it can be to diagnose this disease. It's all clinical, and you assemble all the information, and the symptoms for people are just so varied. I do sympathize that, or empathize that it's got to be really challenging. I'm sure some people are easier than others to diagnose, but yeah, it's strange to me that a multiple sclerosis specialist is the one who decided that the Cinemet test would be a good way to confirm the first guy's conclusion, and then sure enough, the levodopa worked for me right away. It doesn't happen like that with everybody, so, you know, I also understand some of the hesitancy maybe of doing it, but I feel like at the same time, if it's not really going to cause much harm, and from my understanding, you know, that if you don't have Parkinson's, you don't respond. And then at the same time, though, this is again where it gets confusing, is that I do know people who didn't respond right away to levodopa and carbidopa. So it can get really complicated, and it's not easy. So if you are out there and frustrated, know about the levodopa test and talk maybe with somebody if, you know, you're feeling kind of like I was, and I didn't know about it at the time with the second guy. And so those are some of my earlier symptoms, and, you know, if you're dealing with trying to find out what's going on with you, know that Parkinson's has a wide variety of initial symptoms. And as always, please comment below. Thank you so much for people watching these videos, taking the time and subscribing and commenting. I love hearing from everybody, so thank you.